FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, happy not football Friday. Baseball's not even going to start. God bless hockey. At least we don't have a hockey game till Wednesday? This is like the biggest all-star break, and we have an Olympics that nobody effing cares about. What are we doing here? What's going on in my sports world? All right, that's too much negativity to start off the Friday show. Welcome to the JP Peterson Show. Obviously brought to you by the great folks at the law offices of Christopher Palermo at PalermoPA.com. And Nick Geddes is here with me this morning from Outkick.com. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. You know what we do have, though?
What do we got?
We got racing.
The Daytona 500
The Daytona 500 is this weekend. All to itself.
I used to be so into NASCAR. I love the Daytona 500. I love being there. I love covering it for News Channel 8. Covered a lot of big stories there. Dale Earnhardt's win, Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s death there. So many great moments over at Daytona. And it's not even on my radar anymore. What happened? What happened to me?
I mean,
what happened to NASCAR, by the way? What the hell's happened to NASCAR?
They killed it. And I don't even mean it as in like all the stuff that happened recently that killed it. It was killed before that, in my opinion.
How so?
The rule changes, constantly changing the car. The rule changes are very gimmicky. Stages,
completely agree
all this weird stuff, and all the popular drivers that had personalities, they all retired.
They just have no stars anymore.
No, they don't.
They just.
Really
don't. I look at the starting grid and I'm like, who are these people? I have no idea who they are.
And every time one of them bumps each other, they're on their radio. Their effort doesn't want to drive. It's like it was standard 20 years ago, bumping each other.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think it was killed before.
They become soft.
Oh, it's definitely. But they're trying. I give them credit. They're trying to get.
Well, I do believe a lot of the woke stuff that they did. I think pissed off a lot of their fans, no doubt about it. I think with any sports now, when they start some of this nonsense, it just turns people are sick of it, man. People are sick, and I don't want to go on a huge political diatribe here, but what's going on in the world today? But it just seems to me that there's about 15 to 20% maybe the people in this country that are, and obviously it's exponentially promoted on social media, so you think there's a lot more people that believe a lot of these far left things, and it's just, I think people are just pissed off. They've had enough. They've just had enough, and when you just start talking about it, they're like, I can't, I just can't, I'm done. And I think there's a lot. What's trending this morning on Twitter? Congratulations, Catherine. What is that about? Well, Lia Thomas, the transgender swimmer, won the Ivy League 500 free by almost a pool length. And she has shoulders bigger than Michael Phelps. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely 100% ridiculous. And this is not transphobic. This is not anti-transgender. It's pro-women's sports. And so many people talked about this when, all the people on the right are like, oh, it's going to destroy all the sports. And it's like, there's not even going to be competitive transgender athletes. I'm like, yeah, really? Watch. Somebody watch. And this is just the tip of the iceberg with Lia Thomas. Just the tip of the iceberg. And so, congratulations, Catherine is trending. And it's because Catherine Baroker, I believe is her name, was the first true woman to touch in the race and should be considered the Ivy League winner. It's completely preposterous. Lia Thomas is 6'2", 6'3", still has the body of a man, which is a huge advantage in swimming. It doesn't matter what her testosterone levels are that she's tried to work on. It's ridiculous. It's patently ridiculous, and people need to stand up and say it. It's stupid.
I do have a question for you, though, about her. Curious question here.
Uh-oh.
Do you put this on any of it on her or him, whatever identified, or do you put it on the people that let this happen?
Both.
Both.
I think it's so ridiculously disingenuous.
Because I look at it.
I think it's disingenuous by Lia Thomas. I understand her motivation. Okay, I get it. She wants to be included, blah, blah. And she was part of a team, a male team. And if she didn't feel comfortable, I totally understand that. The only allowance that can possibly be made is a separate transgender situation. And if it's one person, fine. If it's one person in the pool, fine. You win. You win the transgender. I mean, to me, there's no other way to handle these testosterone things, these transition things that they do and trying to, level off the testosterone. She has the body of a man, and it's a tremendous. It's not even fair. It's just not fair. And people are afraid to say it. It's just ridiculous. I love this one tweet. Congratulations, Catherine Baroque, the first woman to reach the finishing line in this race. Good on Lia Thomas for having the balls to take part. I mean, I look, I have compassion for transgender people. I absolutely do. I understand that they feel out of place. I get it. We need to make allowances for that. That's fine. But you have to draw the line when these things start infringing on the basic rights of 50% of the population. That's crazy. It's crazy. And to sit there and act like she doesn't have a tremendous physical advantage is a joke. To somebody might call you, oh, you're not woke or you're transphobic. No, I'm supporting women's sports. And there are women. I want to hear it. Billie Jean King, you flipped the coin. You were the champion of Title IX. What do you think of this? You were at the Super Bowl. You're the bastion of the left, and this is okay. This is okay. You want Rafael Nadal to say, I identify as a woman and start playing on the women's tennis tour? It's ridiculous. And people are afraid to say it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's nuts. And I don't know.
Well, I was going to say,
I'm sure I'll get crap for saying this, but it's completely ridiculous.
I was going to say, I agree, that it's probably ridiculous and there needs to be a different way to go about it. I don't know what that way is. I'm not going to claim I know. But I did want to look at it from Lia Thomas's side. At the end of the day, he is it? Correct me which one it is. Is it?
It's she.
It's she.
She would like to be referred to as she.
Okay, so is a college athlete, right? And I sometimes I see all these things in the news, and I see her on Twitter, and I see her articles, and I see so many shows, including this one talking about it, and I think there has to be a hard part for her, right?
Oh,
absolutely.
Just
seeing this everywhere.
Absolutely.
And, at the end of the day, she's going along with the rules that are in place, right? And I understand maybe you want her to stand up and say, no, this isn't right. Let me compete here. I get that. But it has to be a hard situation for somebody who's a college athlete and is getting, scrutinized for, their decision with their body and things like that. I mean, I don't know. I look at it from both sides like that. I understand that it's ridiculous, but from her point of view, it has to be so hard to see my picture plastered everywhere and just hear all of it. It has to. And I get it though.
Yeah, it must be difficult, but it's also the choice that she made. And again, she doesn't have to compete. She can. There's a lot of things that she can do. She can, she can petition the NCAA to say, I want to take I think in some ways I'm compassionate about it. Absolutely. I just think nothing makes sense except to have a separate classification. That to me is the only thing that makes sense. And if there's one person in the pool, okay, so be it. Why is that? Let me just ask this question. Why is that wrong? I can tell you a million ways why it's wrong for her to be competing with other women that she enjoyed the advantage of developing as a man for 19 years. Okay. She's a fully developed male body. And in swimming, it's so important. And I mean, you look at the women's bodies, they have breasts, which are a aerodynamic drag. I mean, or maybe we should fit her with a prosthetic female body where she has to put that suit on and swim. Is that fair? Would that be fair? It sounds ridiculous, but is it any more ridiculous than what's going on? I mean, put yourself in Catherine Baroker's shoes. She's been swimming since she was probably 5 years old, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, doing 30 hours in the pool every day, and there's only 24 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, she spent her whole life there. She gets the Ivy League final and beats everybody, every woman, and finishes second. How you feel about that?
Like you said, I don't think it's right.
It's not right.
I have compassion for them, and I have compassion for Lia Thomas for what she has to go through with all this, because she's obviously going to be cast as the villain here.
But I'm going to say this.
I just don't think she's the villain. I think whoever allows it is the villain.
I think if I were in her shoes, I would feel ridiculous. I would feel if you went out it's almost like you going out and playing basketball against fifth graders and dominating and going, look at me, block that shot, look at me. And people would look at you like, dude, you're a grown adult. They're fifth graders. There's really no difference here.
I get it.
There's no, I mean, so to me, it's incumbent upon you as an athlete to say, you know what, this is not fair. Morally and ethically, this is not right. What I'm doing is, especially as a competitive swimmer growing up as a man, you know how hard it is to win, right? Mm-hmm. And she had good success as a male, not great success, but good success. I mean, she was probably the best swimmer on her team in high school as a male. So, but then she got to college and found out the competition was a little bit too much. And to me, if I put you in that situation, wouldn't you feel like an ass, like playing against fifth graders on a Ivy League stage and kicking their ass and going, look at me, I finished first? I would feel ridiculous. And I think it's morally and ethically an issue. If she wants to be part of the team and be included and doesn't, and her times don't count, that's fine. Why is that not an option?
I get it. I just feel like if going forward, more of this stuff, you're seeing more of this stuff pop up in sports. That's fine. I don't, like I said, I'm not going to tell somebody what they can and cannot do. But if we're going to have this happen, we need to find a way. The people that are making these decisions need to find a way to plausibly do this, not just stick everybody into what they identify as. We know that's wrong. I'm aware of that, but I don't think it's fair to the athletes who are having to compete like that.
We make rules all the time in every sport to make it a level playing field for both teams. That's why we have officials. That's why we have rules in all of sports. But clearly, this is not a level playing field. So let's make some rules. You get a 5 seconds, 5 second. You have to wait 5 seconds till you jump in the pool. I mean, we could come up with all different kinds of rules to make it a level playing field. We do that all the time. We have weight classes in boxing and wrestling. Why? Because it's unfair for someone with a superior body to wrestle against someone who's 70 pounds lighter. It's unfair. We have rules. Let's make some rules. All of this is clouded by what? Politics and wokeness. Let's be honest. Let's keep it real. Everybody's afraid. Even her own teammates were afraid to say stuff because they might get, hit on social media. We got to stop being afraid and stand up for principles that are right in everything we do. That's why this particular situation pisses me off so much, because it's representative of so much that's going on in our culture that doesn't make sense. Women are women, men are men. That's it. And you can get kicked off Twitter for saying it. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. We have to learn to live with each other as we've done for, 5,000 years and accept everybody's differences, but also understand what the differences are by nature. And when we legitimize things like this, we open the door for all kinds of ridiculousness. And it's time that people have the balls and the courage to stand up and say, this is wrong. This is wrong on so many levels. Why even have women's and men's sports then? But if you're agreeing with what Lia Thomas is doing, you're basically saying we should outlaw all gender sports. There should not be any women's or men's sport. Let's put them all together. How's that going to work for Title IX? Title IX that was held up as one of the greatest advancements for women, which are, by the way, half the population. What are transgender people? Less than 1%? I mean, it's ridiculous. And we have to have courage to say so. I mean, watching that video, you're like, and she's going to go to the NCAA championships and do the same thing. It's wrong on so many levels. And just so we know, we're not picking on just transgender athletes. Let's talk about Matthew Stafford. And I can't wait to have this conversation with you. Matthew, you've all hopefully seen the video by now. There's a girl at the parade who's on the stage with Matthew Stafford, a stage that looks to be about 10 to 12 feet above the ground, right? She is taking pictures of him, and she didn't realize where she was and falls off the stage right while Matthew Stafford is on camera. If you haven't seen the video, Matthew Stafford looks at her, and just turns away and puts a smirk on his face and turns away, walks away. Oops, I didn't see that. The girl just fell off stage. Like, has no idea. Did she fall head first? Did she crack her head open? Is she dead? Doesn't matter. Smirk on my face, turning around, walking away. Meanwhile, his lovely wife has this look of horror on her face, like any compassionate human being should feel, and looks over and just to make sure somebody's attending to her, like Matthew Stafford did not do. And I'm looking on Twitter, and I have people like Shane Stafford, who's coming on the show. It's like, hey, you got to know where you are. You got to be aware of your surroundings. Look, she made a mistake, so that's okay to not care a crap about her well-being. So if you make a mistake and step out into the street and somebody hits you with a car, the bystanders are supposed to come out, look at you as you're bleeding to death and go, dumbass, shouldn't have walked out in the road. See you later. It's okay with you?
I just feel in the moment of Matthew Stafford, I'm going to ignore that one for a second. In the moment of Matthew Stafford, I just feel like this is amplified by Twitter and what you read and what people get outraged about. It's a Super Bowl parade. It's a Super Bowl parade. This guy is out of his mind, okay? He's out of his mind hammered. I'm not saying that it makes it right, but let's not act like we've all made – that's my thing. We are the biggest warriors when we jump on that app and we say, he's an awful person because he did something bad while he was drunk. Like, we haven't. The difference is me and you don't have a camera on us 24/7. There's no difference.
If I were drunk, I would never do that. In fact, I would probably be just the opposite.
Some people would. A lot of people would, though. A lot of people would. A lot of people that are keyboard warriors today about Matthew Stafford.
Oh, I don't doubt it. The human condition is changed.
So that means, and you know what? The whole situation's been rectified. They're paying for her very hefty medical bill. What else do you want them to do? Well,
I mean, they shouldn't even be responsible for that, to be quite honest. That's a nice thing to do. But
there you go. He went above and beyond the Call of Duty.
No, but I just want some human decency when you see somebody get injured to make sure they're okay and do something about it. That's just basic human decency. Now, I'm not here to say that it's not like he didn't notice it. It's not like he was so hammered that he didn't notice it. He smirked and turned away. Now, Kelly was his wife's. It's Kelly, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So she had this look of horror on her face, which I'm sure she had been partaking as well. Any human that witnessed that should have some human decency to make sure the person is all right. They just fell 10 feet, 15 feet. I don't know how far it was. It's a big stage.
In that moment, like I said, Matthew Stafford, just being honest, he probably thought it was funny.
You think that's funny?
He probably thought it was funny when it happened at the time.
I don't know what's going on with people in this country. I don't know where is the human decency? Where is the human decency here? All right, there was one more person I was going to pick on, and I totally forgot who it was. Now I've gotten so worked up. We'll come back to it here in a little bit. By the way, on the show today, 10:30, Jonathan Bale is going to join us. He is a amateur golfer from Wales, and he is taking part in the Gasparilla Invitational at Palma City Country Club in Tampa. It is the one of the most prestigious amateur tournaments in America. Beautiful setting over there, Palma City. So we're going to chat with him about his journey through golf and that whole situation. By the way, Jackson Suber, who is a friend of mine and I'm a friend of their family there. He has grown up at Palma City. He's gotten a sponsor's exemption to play in the Valspar. And he's playing for Ole Miss right now. He's one of the top golfers in the SEC. He's won 3 individual titles while at Ole Miss. So he's going to be able to compete in here locally, be one of the local favorites. And he's played Copperhead many, many, many times. Really, really talented golfer. Actually broke the course record at Palma City. Shot a 58 out there. It's a par 70. So Jackson Suber will be in the Valspar along with Valspar just announced a bunch of folks that are now competing. Martin Keimer is one of them. These are the additions. We also know Dustin Johnson and some of the other big names that are already in, but I'll find that and get that to you guys as well. So a lot of big names signing up for the Valspar coming up. So we'll talk to Jonathan Bale. Also Shane Stafford, who also believed that was this girl's fault and not Matthew Stafford's fault. They'll gang up on me at 11:15, tell me how wrong I am. I'm looking at this video right. He just turns and just disappears from the frame.
You got worse things to worry about.
Like an elevator, like a trap door, whoosh. And it's just like, yeah, oh, okay.
He said, I'm out.
Good luck with some of the comments. What a heartless dick. Now that's gone viral. They're paying her medical bills. Yep. If it wouldn't have gone viral, he wouldn't have paid the medical bills.
You see what I mean? And everybody in that comment section believes their own bull and is like, I'm the perfect human being. I would have gone down there and helped her and called 911. I would have done all those things. I'm sure you would have.
I would have.
Sure you would have.
I would have. The girl fractured her spine. He literally turned and walked away. Characters when no one is watching. Shane Stafford, got to understand your surroundings. If you get up close and personal, be an athlete. I'm sorry for his reaction. It's kind of funny, JP. Unbelievable. What is wrong with you people?
Spot on, man. Spot on.
Yeah, Derek Zimmerman says, yeah, that's kind of a dick move. Ralph Goyette, he's an absolute shizbag. We love number 9. My wife drafted him every year. What if the doctors and nurses turned their back on his wife when she fell ill? This is the reason you can't believe the picture that's painted of your heroes. I mean, it is.
What kind of analogy is that?
What?
That is not the same.
I think it's perfect.
It's not.
It's absolutely perfect.
Oh my gosh. This is fake outrage at its best here, man.
Fake
outrage at its best.
He just turned his back. The girl could be dead. And you're just, good luck with that. Since you were trying to take a picture of me, I don't really care about you.
She shouldn't be on the stage then.
What? She got a credential.
Know your role. Know your role.
So if you make a mistake, it doesn't matter. You deserve no help. You just
my point was
everybody for himself.
4 days ago, everybody loved Matthew Stafford. Oh, I'm so happy for Matthew Stafford. Great character.
I'm
awesome.
not saying. Listen,
now, but these guys, these yahoos on Twitter. Oh, I never liked the guy. Piece of shit. Like, come on.
I'm not saying that this wipes away all of the good things he's done. That he's the worst guy in the world and has zero character. I'm just saying, in the moment. Let me clarify that. It was a bad moment. You've had bad moments. In the moment, that was a very, very bad decision, and it does reveal a little bit about who he is. Yes. You can't, if you're a great, decent human being, or even averagely decent human being, you can't witness that and just smirk and walk away.
He made up for it by paying for the bills. He didn't have to pay for those bills, like you said, but he did it anyway.
What if she died because nobody got to her? I know it's a huge crowd. Well. Somebody's going to take care of her. I get it, but
this will all go away. This will all go away. You won't even remember it happened tomorrow.
All right. All right. We'll move on from that. All right. Let's take a break. We're going to come back. Jonathan Bale is going to join us. We're going to talk some golf. And later on in the show, we're going to get into the MLB situation as well. Did not go well. Negotiations did not go well yesterday. But I'm still that. I think the season's going to start fairly on time. We'll talk about it next. Hey, folks, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care. Personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. Christopher Lugo and his experienced medical staff are proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Rather than the impersonal, rushed approach, you will be the only patient and will have our full attention. That's new. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. Bay Area Modern Medical Centers are experts in anti-aging regenerative medicine that optimizes your body's performance in many areas. So call for an appointment to get started on a journey back to full health and a happy life with a new, modern way of healthcare. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636 or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com. Homeowners, listen up. Property values have risen in the Tampa Bay area to record levels, some up to 24% in 1 year. It's time to refinance your home and pull out the equity before rates go through the roof. Call my man Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Scott believes interest rates will be over 5 very soon due to the volatile economy and inflation, but you can still lock in the mid-3s, but not for long. This means you can save tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. Now, Scott is an independent broker, so he can shop your mortgage around for the best rates, and he will pay for your appraisal if you mention you heard it here on the JP Show. That's a $500 to $700 value. Scott does not charge the huge upfront fees like the big banks do. In this uncertain economy and political climate, better to have cash in hand now. So call Scott at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth wow the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. Are you selling your home or refinancing? JP here for Greenleaf Title. You choose the title company, not the realtor, and it makes a difference. You want a reputable company that will make sure your title is safe and secure. There are a lot of scammers out there right now, so go with a trusted company like Greenleaf Title. Plus, they will close anywhere, folks, and they will send a limo to pick you up to come to the closing. Yep, the great JP Limo Closing is back. All you got to do is give them a call at 727-258-6005 or go to greenleaftitle.com. We'll set up the limo for you. They'll come pick you up. Heck, we even picked up one couple, took them to Black Rock Restaurant, one of our favorite advertisers, and then to the closing. That's how they do it at Greenleaf Title. Great service. Will close anywhere. The lowest fees in the business. 727-258-6005 or go to I have way more energy, lost 30 pounds, and I'm performing better in all areas of my life. Nobody wants to talk about sexual health, but it's key to a balanced life. We offer discreet treatments with real-world results. So if you're suffering from a lack of interest in sex, ED, or lack of sexual stamina, Dr. Lugo and his staff can help. Take your health care to the next level at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo. If you have issues with sinkholes or water intrusion damage, storm damage at all for your home, and you're having issues with your homeowner's insurance company, well, Christopher is the one to call. He has recovered millions for his clients, and he will do the same for you. He will fight for you if you have any real estate questions, real estate law, those type of things. He is an expert at that. So go to PalermoPA.com and give them a call, and they will give you a free consultation. Just mention the JP Show, and they will hook you up. We're also brought to you by the Golden Diamond Source, the great folks over there. I know we just had Valentine's Day. There are more. We got Mother's Day coming up, but anytime is a good time to shop at the Golden Diamond Source. Guys, you know, ladies love the shiny stuff. They love the diamonds. You know that, and you probably have no idea what to get for them, but that's easy. That's why it's great to shop at the Golden Diamond Source, because Steve and Julie Weintraub have been doing this for decades. They have the best selection. Steve hand selects every diamond that is in there, so he knows exactly what's in there, and their team will make it so easy. Just go in there and ask the ladies, say, hey, or even the boys, you know, Troy, they'll take care of you. They'll find something for you at every price range. It's a great experience to shop at the Golden Diamond Source. So it's not just for holidays. It's anytime. Go get your girl something really sweet just for nothing, and she'll love you. It'll be a great weekend. Take my advice. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Almerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. All right, we want to welcome in Jonathan Bales. He is an amateur golfer from Wales. He reached 145 in the world in 2012. He started playing competitively again now, 34 years old, and is competing in the Gasparilla Invitational at Palmacia, one of the premier amateur events in all the nation. And Jonathan joins us now. Hello, Jonathan. How are you?
Hey, JP. How are you? I'm good, mate.
Good. How did you find the course yesterday? You shot even par. It's a great score out there. How did you find the course?
Yeah, it was spectacular. This is my third year here, and the course is always immaculate for this week for the players. So it was great. It's always tricky out there, you know, even being a shorter course. When that wind picks up, it gets a little tricky out there. But no, it was fantastic.
Yeah, as a member out there, I've played it hundreds of times and still haven't figured it out. You've obviously played a lot of golf around the world. You were on the Wales national team for 3 years. What is it about this event and this golf course that makes it special?
It really is everything. I put this top of my schedule every year because the membership at Palmacia go all out for the players. The minute you arrive to signing in, you get your own locker, you get a member number. I mean, you're treated like royalty from the minute you get there. And I know all the players feel that way, and it's become extremely competitive, especially over the last couple of years, because of those things. So the field's gotten stronger. And from my experience playing all over the world, this is as good as it gets in terms of amateur tournaments, for sure.
So let's go a little inside golf here. For that, we have a lot of serious golfers that listen to this show. And although this course is just 6,300 or 6,200, I think they're playing for you right now, somewhere in that, and which is ridiculously short by most standards these days. What is it that makes it so difficult that the best amateurs in the world, I mean, by week's end, where you're playing three rounds, I believe, the winning scores single digits. I mean, 4 or 5 under. Why is it so difficult?
I think that the word, I had dinner last night actually, and I was with a group of people, and the word I would describe, it's just very fiddly. So it's very narrow off the tees, very small landing areas, and the greens, very small landing spots. You might stand on the green and it feels, like a normal sized green, but the landing areas and roll-offs are just very tricky. And then you combine that with a bit of breeze, and you can't feel it when you're, amongst the trees, but it's up there. And psychologically that if you miss that green, it's going to be very difficult to get up and down. So it kind of plays tricks on you. And I think experience is a big factor in playing this golf course. Like I said, this is the third time I've been, and I feel more comfortable in knowing where to hit it. And to your point, even being a short course, it requires you sometimes to play very conservatively, and that's difficult to do when you look at the scorecard and you see these holes are shorter than normal,
right?
And but you still have to throttle back and be patient because you think you can make a lot of birdies out there, but it's very, very easy to make a bogey or even a quick double bogey if you're not careful.
We're talking with Jonathan Bale. He's playing in the Gasparilla Invitational out of Palma Country Club in South Tampa. Shot even par yesterday, 70. What's the leading score out there? What are guys shooting?
I heard that there was a couple of 3-4 unders yesterday. I personally try not to look at leaderboards.
Okay. Right.
I kind of have my game plan and can stick to it. I feel like that's a mistake I made in the past. Again, you feel like the score should be lower than they are, and you start putting your foot on the gas and making some silly errors. But it's been pretty clear to me over the last 3 years, if you're around level par 1-2 under with 9 holes to go on Saturday, you're probably going to have a chance. So my game plan this week has been fairly conservative, and I've kind of stuck to that. But I believe there were some 3-4 unders, maybe a 5 under as well.
Jonathan, when you look at just the entire event out there, I know there's some really good players. People might not know the names, but tell me about some of the competition out there. I think last year there were 2 or 3 guys that had either played in the Masters as amateurs or had great success in U.S. Open amateur events. What's the competition like out there?
Yeah, it really is as good as you'll see. Most of these guys have competed in U.S. mid amateurs or U.S. amateurs or U.S. senior amateurs. And to your point, if you win one of those, you get an exemption, especially the mid am to the U.S. Open and the Masters. And for the seniors, I believe they get an invitation to the senior U.S. Open. So there's a lot of guys out there who played in multiple major championships. So yeah, the field and the competition is extremely strong. Very, very strong. So, like I said, it's definitely one of the premier mid-am events in the country by far, if not the world, arguably.
Really?
There's a lot of people from other countries playing. Yeah, it's definitely top of my schedule for the mid-am season of the year, and I absolutely love coming here. It's the best.
And one of the great things about Palma is the history of the club. And you walk through the walls there and you see the pictures of Walter Hagen and Bobby Jones who have played there, Sam Snead, some like Babe Ruth used to play there a lot. What does that mean for you? How does that kind of increase the richness of this event?
Yeah, it definitely does. You look at some of the past champions of this event and the history behind it, and it just makes it feel so much more special. And to your point, you walk through the clubhouse and you're in the locker room, and the history there. It's just very, very special. It's so hard to describe as a player, but when you're there, you definitely feel it, and it's really, really special.
Well, I will be part of the crowd watching you guys on Saturday, and what would this mean for you to be able to get a win here?
Oh, it would mean so much. That again, this tournament means a lot to the players, and everyone in this field wants to win. And it would mean the world to me to pick up a win this week. So a couple of good rounds, and hopefully I can be in contention come Saturday.
Now, do you have any really good? You played a lot of golf all over the world. You played international golf. You played for Wales. Do you have what's your favorite brush with golf greatness story? Do you have any of that good stuff?
Oh, I mean, junior golf growing up in the UK. I played with, playing for Wales, I played with all the guys that you see from Ireland, England, and Scotland. So like the Rory McIlroys, the Danny Willets, the Tommy Fleetwoods. So played with a lot of those guys. But in the US, I've played some golf with John Rahm.
Oh, nice.
And then now living in Jupiter, you're naturally around a lot of good players. So yeah, I've been fortunate enough to play with a lot. But junior golf was really cool because that was guys or they're now on tour and famous. So got to play with a lot of them growing up.
You're probably like, man, is it like this everywhere? are these guys playing with Rory? And these guys like, wow, this is really tough to win a junior tournament around this place. Is it like this everywhere? And then you see these guys winning majors.
Junior golf was tough.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
A lot of good players.
So what's it like playing with Rom? I mean, watching it on. I've seen him live as well, but I mean, my God, what's it like playing with him? Does he ever miss a shot?
You know, it obviously it was extremely impressive, and all those guys are very impressive. It's just how good their bad shots are.
Yeah,
what impresses me. Like the ones he's disappointed with, I would be extremely thrilled with. So I guess, it's not how good your good ones are, it's how good your bad ones are. And his bad ones weren't that bad. It was very impressive.
So I imagine you've played some incredible courses in your life. Do you have a top 5 in no particular order that you've played?
Yeah, I think, Pine Valley, obviously being the number 1 course in the world, that's very special.
How hard was that? What'd you shoot there?
Very, very, very difficult off the backs. And that wasn't in the tournament conditions. That was, with friends, but very special place. Every hole is just so unique. Whisper Rock out in Arizona is one of my favorites. A little under the radar, but there's a lot of tour guys there. My home golf club in Wales, Royal Porthcawl, just naturally grew up there, and it's an extremely special place. Jupiter Hills in Jupiter, Florida, it's extremely special. Fazio design, that's really special. And if I was to squeeze one more in there, Squire Creek. I played college golf in Louisiana at Louisiana Tech University, and there's a golf course there again. Fazio design, goes under the radar, but that's a very special place too. Great design, great layout. A lot of memorable holes there. So that would probably be my top 5.
Nice. Good stuff. Well, Jonathan, listen, thanks for taking the time. Good luck. I'll be out there this weekend, so hope to catch up with you and meet you. Appreciate you taking the time, and good luck. Keep it under the hole, my friend. Keep it under the hole.
Thank you, mate.
All right.
I'll see you tomorrow. You have a good day.
Thanks. Jonathan Bale right there. It's Palmacy, a very, very special place, and the Gasparilla Invitational, very, very cool, and for very nice and polite. I'm sure you can go out there and watch a few holes. No one would mind. All right, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we're going to chat a little bit about. Well, we have to talk about Brady's retirement, and we have now a somewhat official asking price for Jimmy Garoppolo. Should the Bucs be considering this, and is this really a serious thing with Deshaun Watson? We will chat about that next. Homeowners, listen up. Property values have risen in the Tampa Bay area to record levels, some up 24% in 1 year. It's time to refinance your home and pull out the equity before rates go through the roof. Call my man Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Scott believes interest rates will be over 5 very soon due to the volatile economy and inflation, but you can still lock in the mid-3s, but not for long. This means you can save tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. Now, Scott is an independent broker, so he can shop your mortgage around for the best rates, and he will pay for your appraisal if you mention you heard it here on the JP Show. That's a $500 to $700 value. Scott does not charge the huge upfront fees like the big banks do. In this uncertain economy and political climate, better to have cash in hand now. So call Scott at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Hey, folks, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a very different kind of approach to primary care. Personalized preventative medicine, not a one-pill-fits-all mentality. Christopher Lugo and his experienced medical staff are proactive in looking at issues before they become a problem, encouraging a healthy lifestyle with proper diet, supplements, and exercise to optimize your active lifestyle. Rather than the impersonal, rushed approach, you will be the only patient and will have our full attention. That's new. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. Bay Area Modern Medical Centers are experts in anti-aging regenerative medicine that optimizes your body's performance in many areas. So call for an appointment to get started on a journey back to full health and a happy life with a new, modern way of healthcare. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for my friend, attorney Christopher Palermo. If you are having issues with a claim on your homeowner's insurance from a sinkhole, storm damage, water intrusion, defective stucco, and construction defects, or any other issue, Christopher is your man. These big insurance companies didn't get rich paying out what you deserve. Chris founded his practice in 2009 with a passion to help all Floridians with disputes where they were forced to take on the powerful and needed a champion in their corner. Chris wants to make sure you will receive the most aggressive and compassionate representations. He has recovered millions in settlements on behalf of his clients facing defective stucco damage and other construction issues. So call Chris, mention the JP Show, and he will give you a free consultation. That's 813-221-5636, or go to PalermoPA.com. He's a fifth-generation Tampanian graduate of Jesuit High School and the University of Florida, and he cares deeply about you and the community. That's 221-5636 or PalermoPA.com.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, presented by the law offices of Christopher Palermo, also by American Mortgage Services, our good friend Scott Fitzgerald. Rates are going up, folks. If you've been putting off your refi, put it off no more. It's time to get in there, and rates are not going to come back down. If you're thinking that rates are going to get back to the mid-twos, talking to Scott and many of the experts, that's not going to happen anytime soon. In case you didn't know, the economy and inflation are going the other way. The midterms are not going to change that in the short run, folks. So now's the time to get the refi. It's still in the mid threes or lower threes. Scott can get you, but you got to give him a call. Just email him is the best way. Scott@amstampa.com. Scott@amstampa.com. What Scott will do more than anybody else, first of all, he'll pay for your appraisal, which is a $500 to $700 value if you mention the JP Show. Second of all, he's going to go through all your finances and tell you the best options for how much you should take out of your house, what you should pay off, what's the best way to save money, get rid of your private mortgage insurance. He will give you all this advice on how to really reorganize your finances to get the best deal and get the most out of your home and the values that have gone up so quickly. So if you live in the Tampa Bay area, your house has gone up an average of 14%. If you're in certain high demand areas, it could be as high as 25, 30%. Some people have gotten up 45% more in just over a year. It's ridiculous. So you got to find out what the numbers are, and Scott can do that for you. So email him, Scott@amstampa.com. That's Scott@amstampa.com. All right, we have the I guess I don't know if it's the official asking price, but a couple of reports out there from reputable sources that the 49ers are seeking a first-round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo. A first-round pick for Jimmy Garoppolo. Buck fans, are you parting with next year's, or I guess this year's 27th overall pick for Jimmy Garoppolo? If you can't get Russ Wilson, the Deshaun Watson thing, I got to be honest with you, folks, I'm still a little iffy on it. Although it's interesting that Greg Auman did a poll yesterday, and basically 75% of Bucs fans were either I'm okay with it or I have no opinion of it. Only 25% were like, nah, don't bring him here, which I thought was kind of interesting. I get the reason I don't have an opinion on this because I don't have a set opinion on this and I'm really convicted in this because I don't know what happened. And that's going to change my opinion drastically because my opinion of Deshaun Watson was so incredibly high before all this stuff happened. It was, I thought he was not only a phenomenal quarterback and great ability and a tremendous leader, but a man of great character who could lead your team to higher. And it's important. I mean, you can't have a guy that did the things that these women allege that he did civilly. And I read an article yesterday about the court proceedings. He still has not been indicted by, it's been over it's almost been almost 2 years since the first, hasn't it been? Or maybe a year and a half?
A year
since all this came out, 22 women, and they still haven't filed any criminal charges against them. I mean, that just seems very, very odd.
It's the weirdest case
ever.
I think I've heard ever in sports, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, just no update really on it ever. This deposition that's happening next week. I mean, did you know that was happening until this week?
Yeah, I heard about that. But even it's just
not, I don't know.
and I guess he's using this to kind of clear his name and get his, on the record version of what happened. But it's just with so many. And then you throw in the fact that, Houston was going through, he demanded a trade, wanted to get out of there. We know this Houston ownership group is just, they're weird. They're just weird. They do stupid things. I don't know what I think in a very real way that, under the McNair family and the old man especially, I mean, just racist. It just gave you that feeling when he talked and the way, Bill O'Brien was allowed to operate with some of the players. It just, I mean, that organization is just a disaster. And when Deshaun came out and said that stuff, he wanted to get out of there. I said, I don't blame you. I mean, with the way Bill O'Brien's treating players, and it's just weird.
I mean, if I recall correctly, wasn't there all these little nuggets in this whole lawsuit about the attorney that's on behalf of these women? Isn't he like really close with the McNairs?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
That's what I'm
weird.
Saying. It is, and that's why, but it's gone both sides though, because then you heard Deshaun Watson's attorney when they had all these women come forward. Remember, he's like, yeah, he did sleep with these women or had things consensually. He said.
Right.
And that's an odd thing for I guess honesty, whatever, but that's odd, right? To hear a lawyer actually admit to it.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
It just was odd though, because then it tells you there that, okay, clearly he had a dealing with these women. He admits that. He's saying it was all consensual, but the question's going to linger, right?
Right.
Based on the allegations. It just, the whole thing was odd when it started. And we have no resolution on it all. Nothing. I don't feel good about it one way or the other right now.
That's why I never wanted to make any judgments whatsoever, because it's all just so weird. And it's so completely out of character. Although you don't know what people are doing, in their bedrooms. You have no idea. Their public personas can be very different than their private personas. So you just don't. But just the Bucs as a progressive organization, it seems really weird that they want to get all up in this. To me, it seems more like it's a leverage play in trying to get Russell Wilson.
I would take it for what you will, but I believe Watson's agent said yesterday that there's no truth to this stuff. I think Josina Anderson reported that. So
that there's no truth that the Bucs are kicking the tires?
Yeah, that there's no truth this report about the Bucs and Vikings. She texted with his agent, and that's what he said. So take that for what it's worth. But I mean, yeah, it would be a huge shock, I think, to both of us if the Bucs actually pursued Deshaun Watson.
It would be to me.
And I say that knowing that if he got cleared and all this was somehow a big misunderstanding or he was set up or whatever,
which is entirely possible.
Which is possible. I get that. I do think he is the best option, the best overall option.
So we're just talking straight football here.
If I was talking straight football, he is the best option because of the age and growth he still is undergoing, and then how long he would be here, sign him to a fresh deal. I think that would be probably the number one option for me. Football, on the football side.
Yeah, but his contract is really, it's a 4-year, $156 million contract. I don't know if the Bucs can absorb that and still sign the guys that they need to sign, though.
Well, we talked about it. They got a lot of money they can restructure.
So his cap hit is $42 million. Now, a lot of that is in signing bonus that is spread out, so they could redo his cap hit. But that's still a lot of money, bro. That's a $42 million cap hit.
Is he worth it? I think it's worth it.
He's worth it in 2023. That's when the cap's going to go. Cap's going to go huge in 2023, probably by about $50 million. But the Bucs are also going to have to absorb, I think, $23 million of Brady's contract in 2023 if he stays retired.
And I'll ask you this is a hypothetical, clearly hypothetical. But even if he gets cleared, you have the feeling that the NFL is probably going to suspend him based on precedents they've set themselves on things.
If he's cleared, if all this is like, okay, this was all consensual sex.
But we've seen other things, though. We've seen other players where they've gotten cleared, and for whatever reason, they've been given 4-6 game suspensions for stuff. We've seen that before.
Yeah.
So I'm just going off of
but again, it depends on the facts of the case.
What if you trade for him,
right?
And something happens, and he gets like a 6-game suspension? I don't know. Does it soften the blow for you at all?
Yeah, it's long. This is a long-term play, and I think even if the division the way it is, depending on how the schedule stacks up. But if he's suspended for 6 games and you have, Blaine Gabbert and Trask, with this team, you should be able to win 3 of those games at least. I don't know. I think you should.
That was my point, really. Like, if he got like a 6-game suspension, would you be okay with riding with then going Trask Gabbert for that 6 games? You see what you can do with that. And then Deshaun comes back and you ride it out. I mean, that's a hypothetical scenario, I think.
Right. Here's the issue for Jason Light, which is the biggest problem right now, is what's going to come first, the chicken or the egg? It's, in order to get, if I'm Chris Godwin, I'm not re-signing until I know who the quarterback is. I mean, because I think Chris Godwin goes in the open market. He's the top, even coming off an ACL, because we saw Cooper Kupp come off an ACL. Some of these guys, they come back to full strength, if not better, with modern medicine. I mean, to me, I've always said this about Godwin. I think he's a top 5 receiver in the league because of the different things that he does.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the fastest guy. He's not the biggest production guy, although his production's through the roof. But between the blocking, the screens, the catching ability in traffic, contested catches, he's got the speed to get deep. I think he'll still have that. He's the best, one of the best yak guys in the league. He's tough to tackle. He's a great leader. I mean, he brings everything, and he's not a diva. I mean, to me, he is, as far as the Bucs go on their team, and a very talented team, I think he's one of the top 5 players, including Brady when he's there. So I think it's a must sign. It's a must sign. And in order to get him back, I don't think he's coming back for Blaine Gabbert and Kyle Trask. Why would he? Why would he when he's as a free agent? Now you could franchise him for a second year, and you can kind of see where he has to kind of sit around and see who his quarterback is while he's rehabbing. So that's But what about Ryan Jensen? Well, does Jensen come back if it's Trask? I don't think so. I think he chases the money. If it's is it Whitehead? Who am I forgetting here? Kappa. I mean, all these guys. Fournette. And if you Fournette, you got to go out on the open market and find a tight end that wants to come play here. I mean, if it's Brady, then Gronk probably comes back, and I still think Brady is in the mix here. I think there's a lot of machinations here. I was listening to to Ira Kaufman's podcast yesterday, and he doesn't seem to think there's any rift at all between Brady and the organization at all. Lee DeCamper over at Joe Bucs politely disagrees, as do I. I don't necessarily think it's this huge major rift where Brady would never come back. I don't think it's that at all. I think there's just certain things that he wants or desired that may, that would probably have to be taken care of before he can come back. And so I think it's a very, very fluid situation where it comes to Brady, but I do think there's an avenue for him to come back. And again, if he comes back and wants to play for anybody else besides the Bucs, sorry, it's going to cost you.
Yeah. And for the question that we started with, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
Do you trade in the 1st round pick?
I mean, I'll trade him Brady's rights.
Trade him Brady's rights.
If I can't get Russell Wilson and the Deshaun Watson thing doesn't clear up, then I would take Garoppolo over the Trask Gabbard situation. And I don't know if there's anybody else out there. I mean, I don't think Jameis, although I think Jameis could flourish here with this team. I really do. I think he's certainly learned and could be better. I still think, it's a bit of a risk. It's a huge risk. And certainly how much money you're going to guarantee him. And plus, coming from the Jameis camp it's a hard no. I don't think Jameis wants to play for Bruce Arians. I just don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, I think a reunion, like, I'm going to be honest here, as somebody, and maybe you feel this way, I don't know, but as Florida State guys, you wanted it to work so
of
bad,
course,
right?
Yeah, we all did, yeah.
And there's maybe a little bit in the back of my mind that's like, you know what? If he came back, it's going to work. Like, I could convince myself and say it's going to happen because I got my FSU blinders on, maybe. I don't know. But I remember I had to pull off the Jameis Winston Band-Aid. Did you ever have to pull it off before Brady got here? Where you just accepted that it's not going to work?
I kind of got to the point that Arians did. After that last game, when it was the press conference, and I was in that press conference, I was like, my jaw hit the floor. I was like, dude, you just don't get it. Like, I mean, I was Jameis's biggest supporter, that. And I was just like, you still don't get it. Like, you got to take care of the football. You just don't understand it, man. You can't do that. You just never understood the importance of it.
Yeah, and I think he learned it finally in New Orleans. I'm aware of that, but
I think getting your ass sat on the bench and humbled, if that doesn't teach it, nothing will.
But I don't think the answer going right back. There's too much bad that went on here when he was here. I don't know why you want to open up those wounds again. I don't know why you want to go down that path. He's not the quarterback for this system. And I know I said
the system needs to be tweaked for him. You can't.
It does.
The full Arians assault and Jameis Winston do not mix.
No, they don't.
It's gas. It's gas and fire. It just does not mix.
So that's too big of a risk there. It is too big of a risk. And you got some guys. I don't know how the locker room was, with Jameis leading, but are there guys in this team that are going to be like, oh, not this guy again?
I don't think so. I think. Well, the problem is, Mike Evans is used to eating caviar now. So you want to go back to oatmeal? I don't know.
I don't know. Mike Evans was eating pretty well with Jameis. He was getting a healthy diet.
He was getting full, but it was wasn't quality. It wasn't caviar and prime rib. He was probably oatmeal in McDonald's.
He might have been working twice as hard probably to get what he got with Brady.
Yeah. I mean, but I think what means the most to Evans is winning. It's not numbers, it's winning. And all these guys want to win. Once you get the taste of winning like this, you don't want to go back to, I could tell you they were all getting frustrated towards the end there when he's throwing the ball away all the time. At some point you're like, and now you're going to go play with Brady, who doesn't do that. I think it would be hard for them, but you have to accept Jameis as a different Jameis. He's got to come in as, I've learned, I'm different. I'm not going to do that anymore. I learned under Sean Payton, blah, blah, blah. And Sean Payton, one of the reasons he had 14, I think it was 14-2, right? 14 touchdowns. One of the reasons was he probably had Jameis on about 60% pre-read, slip screens, tunnel screens, running back screens. It wasn't like he was letting him the ball game and read the field, down the field, tempting him to throw the ball into these smaller windows down the field, lower percentage throws, 70, 80, 90% of the time. He wasn't letting them do that. So it's on Bruce Arians to make those adjustments as well. And I don't know if that's something that Bruce wants to do, if it's something his offense can handle. I don't know. I think his offense is meant for an experienced quarterback, which Jameis is now. He is now. But I think it would probably have to be something where, Arians, if he stayed on, would have to leave the game planning to Leftwich and Jameis and let them kind of do that. But I don't know if Arians is going to do that.
I can't see it.
Let's just put it this way. It's problematic on many, many levels.
It is.
But I think the other, I think if you have to rate them, and I don't know where Vegas is right now, but Russell Wilson is still the lead. He is the highest odds to go to the Bucs.
Yes, if he's not playing in Seattle.
Yeah. And then followed by who? Garoppolo. Garoppolo, I think, is probably the next most likely. Please, Carson Wentz, no. I was reminded today that the Eagles got a first and a third from Indianapolis for Carson Wentz. And he may be one and done. That's whew.
We haven't even talked about Carson Wentz. What if he goes out on the market? You think that's just
that's a hard no for me. That's a hard no for me. No, man. It's just what he is. I'd rather roll with a Kyle Trask, even though you probably win more games with Wentz. I'd rather find out how good Trask is. Or how good Gabbert could be in the system than what I know about Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz had a very good team around him. Really didn't squat with it. I mean, they won games, but they didn't do anything spectacular. I don't know.
A lot of options.
I'm so focused on Russell Wilson. My heart's going to be broken if it doesn't happen.
I know. I see it.
I visualize it. I see him in a Bucs uniform. Everything comes together with him.
I know. He's the only
Everybody
one.
jumps on board.
You got no concerns with
and
the guy.
Guys on Twitter Report, or maybe Joe Bucs fan, I give them both credit here as I listened to both their podcasts yesterday. By the way, podcasts, definitely the way to go. Much better than what's on over there, in my opinion. They were talking about the business side of this, and we've spoken about this as well. The Bucs signed all these luxury box deals in 2021. I'm pretty sure. I was told that they were all 5-year deals. So you've got these, major corporations, major law firms, all these. They have a lot invested in this team. I don't know if the Glazers can look them, straight in the face. And I'm saying they lost 2 years of Brady because they couldn't and shouldn't have done that. But there was probably some feeling among the people that bought these boxes that there would be 2 years of Brady. And I'm sure they hoped, they all hoped that was going to happen and probably figured it would. So knowing full well that there was an option that he would retire. But you can't, given that investment that these people have made, you're going to give them Kyle Trask and Blaine Gabbert?
Yeah. I don't think it's going to work that way.
Yeah. It doesn't work with your business side. It doesn't work for this roster right now. That's ready to win. It just doesn't work. So you got to go out and find somebody who's been in the mix. One of these guys who's been in the playoff mix. And that's Garoppolo. That's Russell Wilson. That's Deshaun Watson. Beyond that, no Carson Wentz, no Jameis Winston, no.
Well, I'm glad you included Garoppolo in that mix.
I mean, I'm warming up a little.
There you go.
But he's a distant third to Watson and it cleared Watson and Russell Wilson.
All right.
And I don't know, another suitor may be out there. Another guy, our candidate could be out there, like a David Carr. Maybe he becomes available. Although I think Josh McDaniels is zeroing.
Probably going to hold on to him.
Probably going to hold on to him. And Aaron Rodgers, I just, the monetary thing just doesn't work in bringing other people back.
I don't think he's going to play anywhere else.
I don't either. I think he's going back to the Packers.
And I heard yesterday, too, this whole thing with Shailene Woodley, by the way, this engagement being broken up, that was one of his motivating factors, I guess, for going to Denver, potentially. And that's now gone.
Oh, so they broke up?
I don't know. Yeah, they called off the engagement.
Oh, I did not know that.
Oh, you didn't see that?
No, I don't hang out on TMZ.
I mean, you told me you look at the magazines going into Publix. You didn't see that one?
I saw Brady and Giselle on their $650 million
oh my goodness.
Divorce breakup.
That was like the biggest story. Yeah.
The National Enquirer.
Yeah.
I got to check out what's on the cover of the Enquirer.
No, but they
usually a couple good alien stories there. Yeah.
Called off the engagement. So,
What, she finally found out he's an ass? I think that's part of me that doesn't like, and this was way before I actually got more respect for him over the COVID thing. But before that, my feeling on Rodgers. He's just not a great leader.
I know.
Just not a great leader of men. And, he just doesn't seem to elevate in those clutch times as much as some of these other guys do.
I feel you. By the way, switching gears just for a second, we have breaking news. Do you want it now or do you want to take a break and come back?
Well, we got 11:15 interview, so let's go ahead and we'll take a longer break. Let's do it now, and then we'll take a break and come back to the interview.
We have the college.
Shane Stafford's coming on.
Yeah, the college football playoff is not expanding until 2026. They've called off all discussions, so we're having no more 12-team idea. It's staying with 4.
Okay, you guys want me to tell you what this is all about? This is about the Big Ten, the Pac-12, the ACC, and the Big 12 saying, F you, SEC, your little scheme did not work. And we're not going along with it. And that's what this was all about, folks. The SEC, when they added Oklahoma and Texas, they were basically saying we're gonna get, and then we're probably gonna go after Clemson and FSU and Miami and some of these other powers as well, or maybe used to be powers, but still big brands in the sport. And they're trying to dominate everything. And they felt that they could do that and still expand the playoff to 12, where they could get 6 teams in the playoffs or some unlimited number. And when it got down to it, the other conferences were going, no, you're not going to have some unlimited number of teams in this playoff. That's not happening. So that's where this rubber met the road. I think that's the main sticking point, that they do not want the SEC to have an unlimited amount of teams that they can get in. And I think that's fair.
I think the 4 is fine. I really do.
I mean, at this point, you can make a case for 2. For what we've seen in these semifinal games,
what was so wrong?
That's the worst part about it. Is I'm like,
was the BCS really all that bad?
And I guess not. I mean,
no. You know my position on this. We yelled about this during the season, and it was amplified when we saw the playoff games. I don't need to see 1 versus 12.
Good God, no.
That's wasting my time. Other than the monetary advantages to it and the money that you'd make off of it, the TV, whatever, the ratings. I don't need to see 1 to 12. Okay. If you know what 1 to 12 would have been this year, Georgia versus Pitt. I don't need to see that.
Yeah, that's a good game. Yeah, no, it's not.
It's not. So I've always everybody again. Everybody freaks out about these things.
Well, I will say that
it's so much different from basketball. You can't use that argument. Anybody can be. It's not like that football.
I will say this. I think with NIL, I do think NIL leads to parity, more parity. The NIL and transfer portal is going to lead to more parity because good players are going to want to play. Good quarterbacks are going to want to be stars everywhere. They're not going to sit in line. They're going to go to other places. I think this is going to shorten the depth of Alabama, shorten the depth of Georgia. That's my sense as it goes on. And so as we get more towards parity, I think we're going to see a 12-team playoff make more sense. Does that make sense? Right now, there's not enough parity. There's just two. There's the haves and the have-nots, and the haves are like it's Georgia and Alabama and everybody else. But I think that's going to, even though this recruiting cycle didn't change much, but it did. A&M was number one. A&M was number one by a large margin. And a lot of that, sorry, Jimbo Fisher, had to do with NIL. So that's Exhibit A, that we're getting more teams in the mix. And within a year or two, if Jimbo doesn't screw the whole thing up, he should probably have a team that compete with Georgia. He already beat Alabama. So I think as we get more parity, and I think we will through NIL, I think it makes more sense. Right now, it doesn't make sense. It really doesn't.
I just have an issue with parity. I have an issue with parity in sports. Why do we need parity in sports?
To keep more markets interested. Because college football is suffering from a Southeastern identity. It's not a national sport anymore. It's not. The West Coast hasn't been included in 5-6 years. They're completely irrelevant. It's all SEC, Southeast dominant. So it's becoming a regional sport. And as a college, if you're the czar of college football, that's not what you want. You don't want that. You don't want the same.
What czar do we have of college football?
I wish we did have one. But if we did, and hopefully we'll get one, if they come to their senses and put everybody under one tent like they should, then you don't really need a 12-team playoff anyway. What you should have is conference championship, every super conferences, 16-team conferences, 8 teams on each side. Okay. Win your division, you get in the conference championship game, win your conference championship game, you're in. Okay. So we have 6 teams. All right. 6 conferences of 16. That includes all the major programs for the most part. You're going to kick some out, and you could have some relegation system where those, the last 25 that are not included in the 6 of the 16 with 16 can, relegate up and down, which will be kind of fun at the end of the year, right? Mm-hmm. See who gets up, see who gets down. And you could have them regionally done. So then every team, UCF included, has a chance to win the national championship. You win your division, you win your conference championship game, you're in the playoff. Until you get beat, you are in. So this whole thing of is the group of 5 ever going to be represented? You don't have to worry about it. You win your way in. Simple. And those conference championship games are the first level of the playoff. So you got 6 games right there that are the first level. So you got 12 teams right there. And then it goes from there. 12, 6, and on. You can take, the top 2 get buys in the second round, whatever. Once you pull them in, we'll go into the full playoff. You following me here? So you have 6 championship games, all right? 6 teams advance. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you give the top 2 ranked teams a bye, 4. So then you have those games, and then we go up to the top. It works out. Perfect. What's wrong with that? Everybody's represented. Everybody has a shot. Everybody's good.
I get it's hard for me to explain it, but I don't understand why everything's got
rankings. I just don't understand why.
I don't understand why I have to make it fair for everybody. I don't. I really Alabama is dominating. Georgia's dominating.
You're the guy that just threw a girl off a stage and didn't give a crap about her. So I understand where you're
damn right.
from.
I didn't give a rip about it.
Yeah,
but no,
your compatriots coming on next.
I know, to save me here, but no, I just feel like Alabama has been rewarded for what they've done well. Georgia the same way. LSU, the SEC in general, they've just done it better than everybody. How's that anybody else's problem?
More. I'm told
it does mean more.
It does mean more. Okay? No question about that.
It does. It just I know everybody makes a joke out of that, but I'm dead serious when I say it. It does.
It's true.
So I don't care that Oregon State and UCLA aren't competing. I don't care.
Well, I just fixed it, so it doesn't matter. Everybody has a chance. And as college football czar, I just fixed it. Everybody has an even shot. Everybody has an even shot. What more do you want than that?
Everybody has an even shot right now.
That's not true.
You do better as a program.
That's not true.
Do better.
All right. We'll take a break. When we come back, another heartless person will join us and tell us how Matthew Stafford's reaction to that was, to watching a girl fall to almost her near death and doing nothing about it was okay. It's good to be the host. We'll be back in a couple minutes. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship is back in March in 2022, March 14th through the 20th, right in the middle of the best weather of the year and the last stop on the Florida swing. The Valspar has become one of the must-do events on the Tampa Bay sports and social calendar, so get your best tickets before they sell out. The game's biggest stars love the Copperhead course in Innisbrook. Last year, we saw Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth wow the crowds, and another star-studded field is expected again this year. Sam Burns took the title and will defend again at the Copperhead. This will be a full tournament with the return of Valspar Live, our free Saturday concert featuring Chris Young and Big and Rich, and other amenities including Chameleon Cove, the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Publix Chill Lounge, and other hospitality venues. Go to ValsparChampionship.com for tickets. The best premium hospitality areas will sell out, so don't wait. That's ValsparChampionship.com. Well, it's never been more important to support each other and support local businesses like Italiano Insurance that has been around for over 60 years, serving our community with great customer service and also giving back to our locals in need. Their Metropolitan Ministries Holiday Food Drive was another tremendous success this year. Why call a 1-800 number when you can call your trusted neighbors at Italiano Insurance who will save you money? In Boca Grande, 941-964-0400. That's 941-964. Free 2022 crypto market forecast today at DeFiLava.com. Don't get left behind, folks. Make some money at DeFiLava.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Our second hour is brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a different way of taking care of your personal health. It is personalized. It is directed right towards you. If you're interested in testosterone replacement, which I've been doing for about 6 years, complete game changer. They do a tremendous job with that, and they do it the right way where they monitor your blood levels consistently and keep you under a doctor's care all the time to make sure that everything is going well. A lot of these testosterone clinics, it's just it's numbers, money. They don't take care of your well-being, and that's not what they do at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. They have a modern approach, so check them out, BAMMC.com. That's BAMMC.com. All right, going to welcome in our quarterback guru, former AFL, NFL, UConn quarterback, the great Shane Stafford. What's up, brother? How are you?
Hey, I'm doing all right, man. Sorry, my voice, look at what I did, but yelling to that lady.
Wait, you're breaking up. What happened? Hold on. You're breaking up. Try that again.
I'm sorry. I was saying, I was kind of making a joke about your little post last night about the Matthew Stafford.
Yeah. It's not funny, bro. It's not funny. The girl could have died. And here you and Nick are like, oh, what Matthew Stafford did, that's fine. That's on girl. She fell off the stage. All right, make your point. Why do you think it was okay what he did? You heartless quarterback.
Because he was nowhere near in his right mind. Like, he had no idea what was going on by the time he comprehended it. I don't know. There's no point to make other than watch
I think you're backing off right now. I think Nick, your compatriot here, your heartless compatriot here, is not proud of you. He thought you were coming on with more fire about this. You think it was okay for Matthew Stafford to just smirk and walk away when a girl almost falls to her tragic death.
Oh my gosh, you're so over the top on this. She fell like 4 feet.
I think it was farther than
but
that.
I mean, his reaction, it was hysterical, to be honest. I would not touch that with a 10-foot pole. Like, oh, sorry, there's security. There's people here to do that job. My job is to celebrate today. All right, man. You want to get up close and personal, you better watch your step. She's lucky she's not like some of those other YouTubers and what are posters and all those things. I don't even know what they call them, social media lights and stuff, that when they do their little things at like the Grand Canyon and back up.
This
and,
is not Jackass.
Oh, literally. You know what I'm saying? So
no, this
she
is
actually
not
got
that.
out good.
She was working. She's working, trying to give him great publicity and get a nice photo.
Occupational hazard, my man. Occupational hazard.
I understand that, but can I have the decency of a human being to help someone in need? If you got hit by a car when you were drunk and you were laying on the ground, somebody came by and just went, "Oh, you're drunk and you shouldn't have crossed at that time." So peace out,
I have
bro.
a great
Good luck.
experience of story, not while drunk or anything like that. When I was a kid, I got hit by a car chasing an ice cream truck. The girl across the street, she came and gave me my $2. Didn't help me. She just gave me the $2, and I had a hematoma or whatever in my head. I completely was out of it. Nobody helped me. I had to walk home until my parents came and got me and rushed me to the hospital. So there you have it, firsthand experience. People don't like to help hurt people all the time.
There's so much there. I don't know where to go. So some little girl just left you dying in the street after you got hit by a car because you were trying to get an ice cream?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Like, where did you grow up? Baltimore? Like what heartless little girl would do that? And she gave you $2 for
at least she didn't take my money. She at least gave it back to me and said, "Here you go." And then she went and got her ice cream, and I never got any.
Man,
true story, man. True story. I was like,
no wonder you're so jaded. No wonder you're so jaded. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly, brother.
Traumatic experience.
So a little personal experience there.
Oh wow. Well, now I totally understand why you're heartless. I get it. I think the funniest part of the whole thing is how flippant Matthew was and how horrified his wife was. Like that juxtaposition was like, honey, like, did you see that? Honey, yeah. Look, she almost died. Whatever. All right.
He's like, whatever. He's like getting chased by 200-300-pound linemen every time I'm getting car accidents. You don't say anything to me when you're sitting up in the stands. You're still collecting these checks, aren't you? Get me started with that. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Oh my God, this is. I
heard she's a sweetheart.
You're the best, man. You are the best. This is why I bring you on. All right. Also, because you give us great insight into quarterbacking and all that good stuff. So give me a quick read on what you thought of the Super Bowl, the play of the two wonderful quarterbacks, Joe Burrow and Matthew, and your namesake Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, I know, right? No, I thought, first of all, foremost, both of them were competitors, man, playing through those injuries that they both
big time.
Went through. I thought both of them were out of the game. I'm like, this kind of stinks because, if he can't finish the game and now we have a backup and everybody's making excuses, but they both stepped it up. I thought Joe Burrow, for the amount of pressure, was on, and I guess he's just so used to it, but I thought he played a superb game. Missed a couple throws that we all know and saw, especially that one on 4th down early and on the game. But like I said, for the most part, I thought he played spectacular, under pressure all game, all day. Not much he could really do other than what he did do. And then you look at Matthew Stafford when he needed a crucial drive. And that's the type of quarterback he is, though, and that's why they brought him in, JP. We all know that. Mm-hmm. He's most comfortable, no doubt. And this is the same way he was in Detroit because he's always playing from behind. And it is true. Like, you get in that comfort zone, like, okay, I've been here before, no problem. Let me just take what they give me and make a play when I need to. And he did that, man. So I thought it was superb from that standpoint. And, I don't want to sound like a broken record of what everybody else was saying about it, but man, Aaron Donald is just an absolute stud, man.
Yeah.
That dude is amazing.
I mean, if you were Joe Burrow and you're looking at that tape and you go, yo, Coach Taylor, why do we running Samaje Perine on 3rd and 1? Where's Joe Mixon? And why are we running right at Aaron Donald in a one-on-one blocking situation? Then on 4th down, why are you leaving Aaron Donald one-on-one with some guy who can't block him, like can't even slow him down? Like, can you help me out here a little, Coach? Like,
no doubt. I'm with you. I thought that was hands down. Those are 2 really, really bad scenarios that just so happen you make some of your worst calls at the most important time. And I mean, all I ever heard was, all the, pundits were saying like how their right guard, Cincinnati's right guard, it was their weak link. Yeah. So you're telling me on 3rd and 1, and they were in shotgun.
Yeah.
And so now you're taking, why would you not quarterbacks? I mean, Joe Burrow is not a small dude. He's like 6'4", like 220, something like that, 225.
Yeah.
Go ahead and QB sneak it. And if they want to cover, basically play, and cover the guard and the centers on both sides, well, then you can go ahead and audible to an off tackle type of deal or an outside zone type of deal or something.
Like the Bucs did.
But yeah,
that 4th down,
exactly.
And Fournette scored, bounces it outside and scored. Yeah, there's so many options, and they took the worst possible one.
That dude, I mean, that was a really, really bad segment for Cincinnati and offensive play call.
I can't get enough, and I don't think enough has been made of that final drive by Matthew Stafford, a 6-minute drive. Not only that, but that no-look throw. I mean, it's just like as a quarterback aficionado myself, like I look at that and I go, dude, in that situation to make that throw and talk about how hard it is to be as accurate and as powerful with that throw when your head is actually turned the other way. I mean, that's nuts.
It truly is. And like you said, what makes it that much better is the time that he did it. And it wasn't when they're up by 3 scores and the game's over. No, this was a nut cutting time type of period of the game. And it was absolutely that pivotal point of the game on the drive. And for him to have the awareness, the instinct and all that, and the ability to fire that thing in. And that's, I know Mahomes made it famous and now Stafford's made it famous, but quarterbacks actually do. I train, there's something that I do with quarterbacks where I actually teach them to look at me and I point in directions and I teach them to not get their eyes off of me and throw it to the receiver I point to. So it is something that has been worked on, but I'm going to tell you, JP, to have the kahunas to do it in that time period and to be as accurate as he was truly unbelievable. And, great thing like with Cooper Kupp and them to have that respect for each other and that trust in one another. If I get there, I know he's going to throw it. That helps a quarterback out so much.
It's so next level too in that situation because, you got to get a chunk play at some point and he knows that they're doubling Cooper Kupp. So the only way to get him open is to throw him open in a situation like where you got to sell that you're throwing it to somebody else. Even when, even when that safety knows damn well that you're going to, you got to make it so he's got to take the bait. And boy, he sold that like a champ. That was insane, that throw. And, even the touchdown throw to Cooper Kupp at the end there. I mean, it looks kind of simple, that little fade, but that's not a simple throw, right? Talk a little bit about that one.
No, you're exactly right. And that goes, I was going to get into a little bit about Cincinnati defense and what their scheme was, which was horrific in that time period. But number one, the way they schemed it up in terms of getting Cooper Kupp off the ball so you can't get hands on him.
Right.
Number two, putting him outside so you can't really double him and putting him outside with another receiver. So if you do double him, it's really going to show. And now you may have something else within your offensive play calling. But yes, it looks like just pitch and catch, and that's all they're doing. And it was only, a 3-yard fade. But for him to throw it on time, for Cooper Kupp to do what he did, again, the trust factor, this isn't something that is easily done, especially at that level. You have to have an unbelievable amount of trust, and you have to really just that's the biggest thing, JP. If I can't trust you, because I got to throw it early, because we run as a quarterback, I got to throw it early because we don't have yards down the field to attack. So the next thing we can do is we have to attack vertically, which is up, and get the ball on quick. And Matthew Stafford threw one hell of a throw, and Cooper Kupp just was who he was all year and came up big and made an unbelievable catch. And just his patience. That's one thing people don't realize. Everybody thinks being a great receiver is speed. Cooper Kupp's probably a low 4.5, high 4.4, which isn't slow.
He ran 4.6 at the combine.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not that slow. No, he's not.
Yeah, that is slow as a receiver.
Yeah.
But I'm saying now he's probably like a mid 4.5.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
But the point is, he is such a technician in his route running, and that if there are young receivers listening to this, and they need to hear this, everybody thinks it's just I'm going to beat him with speed. No, because the angles are what's most important in this game. And Cooper Kupp understands how to set people up when he sees what defenses he's going against. And he has such great patience with his route running that it's so easy to throw to him. And as a former quarterback, he is so quarterback friendly because he gives you those indicators of when he's getting into his break, when he's coming out of his break.
Right.
So you can just anticipate all that stuff. But it was phenomenal, that last play.
Good stuff right there from Shane Stafford, our quarterback guru. All right, I want you to handicap the field here on who will take the first snap for the Buccaneers in 2022. I'll just leave it open to you right there. Like, who do you think it's going to be? And then we can get into, handicapping the field here.
Jameis Winston's coming back. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Man, who knows? Goodness gracious. It would be great if Deshaun Watson, if that were something that was serious, and I don't know what the talks and rumors are down there, not being there, but I would love to see him, he'll be right at home with you just go down Kennedy and down Mabry. There's a lot of places that he apparently likes that he'll fit in there.
So that's a recruiting tool, the Mons Venus.
Absolutely.
All the Oriental massage places. Okay, good one. That was good.
I don't know what you're talking about. I just said street low-key. Like
Nick,
you took it to another level.
Well, all right. That being said, from a quarterbacking standpoint, strictly quarterbacking standpoint, guys, I can't remember the last time I saw Deshaun Watson play. But I remember he was really, really good. Yeah. He was really, really good. I think he would be a tremendous fit here. And obviously at 27 years old, he's got his whole career in front of him. He's got a great team around him. I think it might be a smoke screen that the Bucs are using for leverage to get Russell Wilson. How do you think Russell Wilson would fit in here with this offense and this surrounding cast?
I think he'd be tremendous, and he'd be another guy, probably, realistically, maybe a 1A type of guy to come in there. But with that cast of characters that they have, I shouldn't even say characters, but what they have and what he brings, it's gonna open up the offense more. Russell has the ability to throw the ball downfield. He's got the arm strength. We've seen that. He's one of the best deep ball throwers in the game of football to date. He just anticipates throws with air. Mike Evans, I think, would love him once we get Godwin back.
Yep.
He's got the ability to make plays with his feet, so that only adds another dimension to the Bucs offense, to where now they can open it up a little bit and maybe do a couple more RPOs, and not even true RPOs, but more of like zone read things. And I think it would be a great, great fit for the Bucs if they could find a way to get him.
What do you think about Garoppolo? My co-host and I have very different opinions on Garoppolo. What do you think? How would he work here?
He would be a bridge.
Bridge, you said, Nick. A bridge.
Yeah, a bridge. Just a bridge to whatever their next plan is, I think. Unfortunately for Garoppolo.
A bridge to a first-round exit.
Like, possibly, yeah. I don't think he's so up and down. I mean, and granted, we'll probably have a pretty good run game again next year, and I know that's what he relied on, and the creativity of what was going on there in San Francisco. But the guy, when just like we talked about with Matt Stafford, when everything's out there and all the chips are pushed in the middle of the table, I just don't trust Jimmy G at all. I think he's going to make a play to where it's going to be detrimental, and you're going to be like, okay, now I understand why. He's going to be a guy that travels around a lot. I think he's a great backup and a really good starter. Don't get me wrong. I mean, to do what he's doing in the NFL, going to a Super Bowl, going to NFC Championship games and stuff, you still got to be good. And
he's just not elite.
I think it would be I do, JP, though, I do want to say this about him. I don't think it would be a bad thing with Tampa to get him, a guy that has veteran leadership now, has been to many Super Bowls as a backup, as a starter. He understands how to win. I just don't consistently trust him.
Right.
Grant him in Winston for that long, and I don't think he's going to throw 30 interceptions, but he may put us in a bad situation. And then whatever we have defensively coming back next year with certain free agents out there, I don't know if we'll be as good of a defense there in Tampa as we were the past 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, they've got a lot of questions to answer, and that's why I think bringing back someone, getting a Deshaun Watson or trading for a Russell Wilson, that's going to bring everybody back. It's going to reinvigorate the team. You get Fournette back, yeah. I think you would obviously get Godwin re-signed. Guys like CD3 and Ryan Jensen would want to stay when you got a guy like that, because he's proven he can win Super Bowls and get you to Super Bowls and put a good I think this would be the best team that he's had around him since he won the Super Bowl in Seattle. I don't think there's any question about that with this offensive line. I think he could do wonders. So I don't know if
the other thing is,
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, speaking of offensive line, and you know better than this, but with Jensen, is his contract up? You need to get that man back.
Yeah, he's a free agent. It could be franchised.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a huge piece of that offensive line, though. I mean, it really is. That he's like the tooth and nails and the glue of everything.
Yeah. All right, partner. Good stuff as always. It's great to catch up with you, even though you're a heartless bastard, just like my co-host. But that's fine. All right.
Well, hey, I'm gonna real quick. If I just want to put a plug in, Russ Wilson. If you come to Tampa, I'll definitely move back to Tampa because I love some Sierra.
Well, that'll definitely put him over the top in the recruitment right there.
That'll
add another stalker.
That's what I thought. That's what I wanted.
Thank you for that. All right, quick break. When we come back, Kevin Weiss is going to join us from Rays. We haven't had him in a long time. We'll talk about the Rays roster and what the hell is going on with the negotiations. Are they ever going to play? I think they are. Stay with us. Homeowners, listen up. Property values have risen in the Tampa Bay area to record levels, some up to 24% in 1 year. It's time to refinance your home and pull out the equity before rates go through the roof. Call my man Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Scott believes interest rates will be over 5 very soon due to the volatile economy and inflation, but you can still lock in the mid-threes, but not for long. This means you can save tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. Now, Scott is an independent broker, so he can shop your mortgage around for the best rates, and he will pay for your appraisal if you mention you heard it here on the JP Show. That's a $500 to $700 value. Scott does not charge the huge upfront fees like the big banks do. In this uncertain economy, performing better in all areas of my life. Nobody wants to talk about sexual health, but it's key to a balanced life. We offer discreet treatments with real-world results. So if you're suffering from a lack of interest in sex, ED, or lack of sexual stamina, Dr. Lugo and his staff can help. Take your health care to the next level at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Our second hour brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, a different way of taking care of your total health. Check them out at BAMMC.com if you're looking for a new general practitioner for yourself. Definitely try them out. Christopher Lugo and his medical team, fantastic, and will look after you in a proactive kind of way, very different way to approach your health care. So go to BAMC.com for more information. Get in touch, get a free consultation, and JP saying. All right, let's talk a little Rays with Kevin Weiss from Locked On Rays. We haven't chatted with him in a while. What's up, Kevin? How are you?
Doing well, JP. What Rays baseball? No Rays baseball. No spring training going on right now. I guess I have to be a college baseball fan for the foreseeable future. It looks like.
I see that people are talking about its opening day for college baseball, and people are very excited about that. I guess if you got no Major League Baseball, watch your favorite college team, right? You know, Florida State's going to be a national championship contender. Florida always is. USF's got a program that's up and coming. So, yeah. I hear all the Yankees are working out at USF.
But I just never could get into it, quite frankly.
You never got into college baseball?
A little bit here and there, but once spring training starts simultaneously, then it's like, okay, I got to put it on the back burner. That's just always been my approach. I mean, I went to USF, so USF was competing with the Rays in a sense, and all the spring training that was in the Tampa Bay area. So it's tough to, my allegiances and my time was divided, and I couldn't really, stay tuned into USF baseball as much of a good program as they built over the last couple of years.
If you go out to the USF field now in the mornings, you won't see many Bulls out there. You know who you will see? Yankees.
Aaron Judge, right?
Yeah, all the Yankees are working out there. I kind of blew their cover there, but yeah, you could go out and if you're jonesing for Yankee spring training, head on out to USF. And while you're there, patronize their baseball team. Yeah.
JP, let me do one better. Or you could go to the University of Tampa baseball fields and watch Kevin Kiermaier shag fly balls and do some BP because he is a frequent visitor there. Mm-hmm. So if you're if you hate the Yankees and want to see some of your Rays players, maybe the UT campus can help you out.
There's probably more than a few Rays over there as well because obviously those are both very good facilities, major league quality facilities, and that's where these guys want to be. So, hey, go check it out. See while these guys are on strike or locked out, I guess. I've been paying a little attention to I hate to get up in the minutia of what they're arguing over because, it's billionaires arguing with millionaires. It's, really don't have time for that. But do you have any sense of what the major issues are? And I'm confident it's going to get done because I think the owners, more than anything, they lost a lot of money during COVID. They have a lot of catching up to do. The last thing they want is empty spring training stadiums and empty regular season. I think the players have leverage right now, and it's just a matter of time before the owners cave. What do you think?
I think there's some of that, although we have to consider that these owners are billionaires, so they have they usually have a little bit of a slush fund to keep themselves tided over. If anything, it might be, this is just my impression, but maybe the rank and file baseball employees that are maybe hurting a little bit are going to get to the point where they're hurting if they miss games or the season gets delayed. And then also the players. I mean, you've got the Max Scherzers, you've got the executive council, the executive committee. Those guys are very established players, millions upon millions of dollars made, long-term contracts. But it's think about a lot of the Rays players that just got a taste of the major leagues, and now they're on the 40-man roster, and they're going to want that paycheck. And they might only have think about all the relievers that, just get a little bit of service time, and they really rely upon and need that $600,000 or whatever it is to keep them afloat and to keep them going. So I think, I actually think it's a little bit reversed. I think, look, both these parties have an invested interest in wanting to play baseball and get on the field and going here. But the players, especially those, the 90%, the 95% of baseball players out there, major leaguers, not the stars, not the veterans, but the guys that are on their first couple of years still pre-arb, they want to try. I would think they want to get to be playing ball so they can start to make some money. And I know that the union has, I hate to use the word slush fund, but they've got money in reserve that they can kind of keep players on the tide and keep players okay. But at some point, that's going to run out. And at some point, guys are athletes. They're competitors. They want to get on the field and play the game. It's not, for the regular 9 to 5. Hey, I get to sit out. I don't have to work. That's great. No, these guys want to play baseball. I mean, most of them do anyway. So I really think that, the owners pretty much, again, getting into the minutia is like, oh God, it's like, there's people that report on that and do that. And that's what they're rolling.
It's not you. I know. I'm the same way.
I just want the games to be played already and spring training to start. But I mean, the owners, from what I understand, they more or less want the status quo, like what the last CBA has been. They would like that, although they would like expanded playoffs, which I think there is some middle ground there. The number of teams that make the playoffs, I think, is still up for debate and discussion between the players and the owners. I think the players want 12 teams, the owners want 14 teams. And then, of course, there's the issue of service time manipulation. There wants to be players want to try to address that. They've tried to shoot their shot with the become a free agent after 5 years instead of 6 years. And from what I understand, that's a non-starter and that's not going to happen. And I guess there was a meeting the other day. It lasted only 15 minutes, and it wasn't because, hey, we agree on all these issues, let's get things going. No, it was, I think, I don't want to use the word hostile, but let's just say that both sides weren't agreeing on many things. So the meeting ended relatively abruptly. So I don't know. I think we could. I don't want to set an over/under on how many games will be lost, how many games will be played, but I wouldn't be surprised if the season ends up being, 140, 145 games into the normal season, 162. Which I would be, in a perfect world, I'd be okay with. I'd rather see fewer regular season games and more playoff games.
I think we all would.
If you have 10 University H, which looks like it's going to happen, then I might sign up for that, quite frankly.
Yeah, I don't think any baseball fans going to dismiss those extra 20, 25 games. Nobody really cares. All right, let's talk specifically about the Rays right now. Do you think that there's any major moves left for this team? I mean, I'm looking at their roster and I'm saying, there's talk of Kevin Kiermaier getting dealt. It's going to be tough with his contract, but I think he'll find suitors. And then Austin Meadows, which I think a lot of fans get crazy about, like, oh my God, you can't, no way you can trade him. I'm like, I don't know. Let me talk to Kevin about this. I bet he can make a case for trading Austin Matthews, because I think you could get some good return for him. What do you think?
Yeah, look, this is the Rays we're talking about. So pretty much anybody outside of Wander Franco could be on the trading block if the right or appropriate offer comes through. As far as major moves left, I would still think the Rays may be in the market for maybe another veteran pitcher here and there, possibly. I do know that they definitely need a right-handed bat first type, sort of like the Nelson Cruz role. Maybe it is Nelson Cruz that they try to bring back. And if that is to happen, if they are seeking that type of bat, you got to make some room on the roster. You got to create a space one way or the other. And I look at it, and I look at what seems to be a pretty clogged outfield with Austin Meadows, with Kevin Kiermaier, with Brett Phillips, with Randy Arozarena, with Manny Margot, with Josh Lowe on the 40-man, with Vidal Brujan on the 40-man. That's a lot of guys. That is a lot of guys. And one or two may have to go or be traded, or some kind of creative deal has to be worked out. Now, we've known for years, it's kind of been the common thing here of, KK is perpetually on the trading block. And it seemed like the Rays got pretty darn close before the lockout to trading him to the Phillies. And I guess things couldn't materialize. And then if you remember back during the trade deadline, they were talking about shipping Glass now and KK to the Giants for some sort of package, or shipping them to the Cubs. I mean, they were, I think it got pretty close down the line of like, we would be okay with parting with these guys. So I still think KK is probably numero uno as far as a guy that would be traded once the lockout ends and a new CBA is agreed upon. What the return is, I don't know how much it's going to be. Look, we have to remember that, yeah, the KK is the highest paid player on the team. Well, yeah, I guess for now, Wander Franco has the longest term and biggest contract on the team, but he won't really tap into that for the next couple of years. But $12 million, $13 million for KK. Yeah, that's a lot for the Rays. That's a lot for several small market teams, but there's a lot of teams that can absorb that cost of the DNC price. Now, the offense, you know, is what it is. But if you're going after KK, you're going after what he brings from a veteran leadership presence, and the fact that he's a platinum Gold Glove. Like he's got it defensively in center field. Although, you know, I think the Rays would certainly be okay with keeping him. Like if something doesn't materialize before the season starts, they might just say, hey, we don't want to disrupt the team here and trade him mid-season because he's been such a staple of our team. But I could see them, okay, you don't want to trade KK, but I think that might lend itself to trading either Manny Margot or Brett Phillips, because those three guys more or less do the same thing. Light hitting bats for the most part, with really superb defense. Although, you know, Manny Margot probably a more complete, well-rounded hitter than those other two. But you and that could be another guy. Manny Margot could be sort of the dark horse or the X factor as far as a trade candidate goes. Austin Meadows, absolutely. Again, like I mentioned, JP, pretty much anybody and everybody can be on the trade block for the Rays. I just find it, I'm not like, oh, how can they trade Austin Meadows?
Exactly.
What are you thinking? Like, I get it. Like, I get what the Rays try to do. Like, he struggled versus lefties, and he's kind of falling. He's closely getting to the point where he doesn't have a defensive position anymore because he's just not a good defensive player, not good in the corner outfield. But that production he provides, 25 to 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, clutch factor. When a run needs to be driven in, he was pretty much there with the sacrifice flies and the go ahead or game tying runs. Like that's pretty valuable to have in the middle of the order.
It's hard to
and
find.
For whatever he's going to make in arbitration, you know, $3.5-4 million, that's pretty affordable. But if the right offer comes, I mean, sure, yeah, you package him up for something. But I just get the impression that maybe it's Mark Hopkins throwing crap against the wall and seeing what sticks. But who knows? I mean, we just never know with this team. I would just be I would scratch my head a little bit just from the sense of, okay, Nelson Cruz is no longer on the team. Austin Meadows is no longer on the team. That's two middle of the order bats that you're taking out of the equation. I just wonder about that.
And when you talk about universal DH, like who fills that role? I mean, obviously you don't have, it doesn't have to be the same guy, and it certainly won't for the Rays, but I don't think they would even look at it as like, oh, let's go out and get a DH. They look at it as, well, that's just another movable piece within the lineup that we could, you know, use different guys in different setups and different matchups. Like it's not like they're going out to find, you know, a designated hitters like most traditional teams would do, right?
Yeah, no, that's actually a great point. And just to piggyback off of that, you know, the right-handed bat first type, I would assume that guy would be able to play first base to spell G-Man Choi, because right now, as far as I know, I guess Yandy, you could put him at first. But look, I feel like you'd want a little bit more power from. They want a right-handed power bat. I guess is the way to put it. But
interleague games, you know,
that's where I could. You know, you bring up that brings up an interesting question, JP, because if the universal DH, and it looks like it is going to go through and materialize, that's a lot of National League teams that might, you know, kind of be drooling at the possibility of trading for an Austin Meadows.
Right.
Okay, if you need him to play in the outfield, he can, but also he also knows what the DH role entails.
Right.
So if there is a good enough offer out there, certainly Austin Meadows could be traded. But I hope if the Rays do make that move, that in return, they at least have somebody in the fold that they can rely upon we are confident this new guy, this next guy can come in and give us 25 to 30 home runs and drive in 85, 90 RBIs, whatever it is. I don't like the idea of trading Austin Meadows for the sake of trading Austin Meadows to open up a spot for Josh Lowe or Bedell Bruhan. Who's to say those guys are ever going to be in the same stratosphere as Austin Meadows as far as offense goes? Defensive, I'll give you that. I'll give you the versatility.
This is about offense.
I'll give you that, but I'll give you the athleticism. But can they produce like Austin Meadows produces at the plate? And let's remember this too about Austin Meadows. I know he struggled against lefties this past year. He had the terrible COVID year. I think, the Rays would sort of be selling low on him because I think there's more untapped potential offensively where he finally gets his legs and health and body underneath him for 2022. I think that's really huge. And also, last thing on this, his strikeout rate was only 20%. That's pretty darn good for a guy that's given you, 27, 33 home runs a year.
All right, Kevin, good stuff. Tell everybody how they can get your content now that the hopefully baseball season will get going here soon.
Yeah, of course. Locked On Rays podcast, every single podcasting platform you can find us.
All right, we will find you. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. Good stuff. We'll chat with you soon.
Of course. Anytime, JP. Have a good one.
All right, we got a few minutes left here to wrap up the show. It's been a fun day. I was hoping that you would find the most narcissistic interview of all time with Eileen Gu at the Olympics. Did you happen to find that? This is the girl that grew up in California, lives in California, and got paid a lot of money to go compete for China. She did an interview. First of all, she's a completely California girl. She have a Chinese last name, or mother may have been born in China, but other than that, she has no affinity to China whatsoever. And she's winning medals for them, and everybody's acting like she's Chinese. She's not. And it's trending Eileen Gu, traitor. I don't want to get really angry at the girl. But man, that interview was the most narcissistic, look at me, I'm wonderful. I don't know. It kind of really rubbed me the wrong way. And there's a bunch of different interviews with her, but the one was like the post right after when the NBC person comes over. Do you have any of them? We can listen to the great Eileen Gu.
Trying to hurt the one that you're looking for.
Yeah, I could. We'll just go with that one right there. We'll just listen to her. She might be as narcissistic in this one as she was in the other one. I don't think it probably changes much, but it's just a weird. Just that it speaks so much to what these Olympics are all about. Yeah, let's play that one. There you go.
See this one.
Let's see how this one went. This is her at the podium, and give her props. Three medals in freestyle skiing never been done before.
I chose to ski for China because there's this massive opportunity to spread the sport to people who haven't even heard of it before. And honestly, I have met my goal. There are 300 million people on snow, so to have even influenced a tiny fraction of that makes me immensely proud. I feel as though I use my voice as much as I can in topics that are relevant and personal to myself and targeted towards people who are willing to listen to me. And that being said, I'm also a teenage girl, so I do my best to make the world a better place. And I'm having fun while doing it. I'm skiing. I'm hoping to inspire young girls. So that's my message right now.
It's not terrible. That was actually pretty good. But look, we're ignoring the human rights abuses, and you're basically skiing for a country that New York Times did a very interesting piece where they contrasted Eileen Gu and a mother of 8 who they found chained up in China because she had 8 children. It just gets very, very, when you start throwing in the politics, which you can't ignore. She is a propaganda piece for China, and it looks great. She's a beautiful girl. She's extremely talented. She didn't grow up in China, and she wouldn't have had it. She probably would have been aborted had she been in China. So you got to kind of keep that in mind. All right. Thanks to Jonathan Bale, who joined us, who's playing out at the Gasparilla Invitational. Really fun interview with him. Also, the great Shane Stafford and Kevin Weiss. If you missed anything, go check it out on our app. We are download that app every day, FanStream Sports and FanStreamSports.com. You can listen there. Also on YouTube. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you Monday.